says why insecurity is not going away yet. Why insecurity is not going away yet. This is coming from the service chiefs. Warders assisting imprisoned Boko Haram insurgent to operate. CDS says armed forces underfunded. Adds Finnish government protecting Simon Ekpa. Alleges Ekpa sabotaging security agencies. Efforts in Southeast. Cost of aviation fuel, introduction of surcharges affecting NAF operations. That's coming from Air Chief. I met battered police force. Inspector General of Police laments police personnel grossly inadequate. Insecurity will soon be over. Defense Minister. Security welfare of people, primary purpose of government. Speaker Abbas. Declare national emergency on kidnappings. Uriah urges Tinubu. You can read all of this news on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Nigeria's rig count drops 13% as oil output rises to 1.4 BPD. Can get that news on page 19. Brutally frank, Nigeria doomed without restructuring federalism. Without restructuring and federalism. That's coming from Clark, Adebanjo, Asiodu, Anya, Akinyemi, Utomi, others. That news is on page 9. Overturning Kano. Zamfara Plateau voters' decision in court unacceptable. That's coming from Obasanjo, and you can read that news on page 10. TTP, truckers bicker over sale of port entry tickets. Will investigate. That's coming from Nigeria Port Authority, and you can read that on page 13. Rivers crisis. Two factional assembly lawmakers hold separate sittings. You can read that news on page 7. As governor, FCT officials issued me fake C of O. That's coming from Wiki, and you can read that news on page 25. Senate in rowdy session over leadership positions. That news is on page 9. FG revokes 1,633 solid mineral titles, and you can read that on page 13. And an excerpt from Afe Babalola, which is on page 20. The land of Canaan in the Middle East has been ravaged by frequent political conflicts and violent land seizures. This is because of its strategic geographical location of Canaan land. Like I said, you can read that on page 20. And on page 30 is from the World of Sports 2026 World Cup. Rwanda adds Super Eagles lifeline, beats South Africa 2-0. And the picture story shows crowd welcomes Kano governor. Mammoth crowd welcomes Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State after the appeal court judgment recently. And that's all from me, from the front pages of the Vanguard newspaper.
Well, I have with me the New Telegraph, and I'll just touch on the main topics. Currency swap. Trade facilitation boosts CBN's yuan auctions to 9.22 billion yuan. You can find the story on page 3. 30 years old Diwan emerges Plateau speaker as Sule deputy resigns. You can find the story on page 30. October, prices of cooking gas soared by 8.9%. Fuel price increases by 222.9% year on year. NBS, you can find the story on page 8. Clark Adebanjo, order insists on restructuring. 2014 confab execution. You can find the story on page 6. Nigerian expects magic from EU-motivated police force, says IGP. As service chief seeks more funding. Good governance curb insecurity, CDS. Issues executive order on states. Local government police to strengthen national police, Afenifere tells Tinubu. You can find all these stories on page 2 and 6. Appeal court judgments. 3 judges upturning millions of voters' decisions. Unacceptable. OBJ. Says court decision cathedral pronouncement. You can find the story on page 3. Nigeria needs $35 billion to begin concrete roads. You can find the story on page 29. Pipeline vandalism. National calamity, NNPC Limited. As next President Buhari its negative impact. You can find the story on page 7. Federal government to move strengthen border security, deploys e-gates APIs to enhance checks at entry, exit points. You can find the story on page 3. Belly fat may raise Alzheimer's risk study. You can find the story on page 7. And that's all from the New Telegraph this morning.
Going further on the story here on the Punch newspaper, I was just reading about it, about if where I said vandal to die by hanging accomplishes back 16 years. It's said that these people, they killed, I think, officers of the state government. They killed like either 10 of them or 14 of them, and they killed them. And the funny thing is, they were not remorseful for their action. The main person that carried out that operation killed that 10 or 14 operatives at Ikorodu. And the reason why they even sentenced him to death by hanging was because he was not remorseful, and they were still lying. They said the evidence against them showed that they were the one that carried out that operation, but they were still trying to defend themselves, not being remorseful, lying that they don't know how to speak English, while evidence says so had it that they were conversing in English to carry out that operation. You know, I was wondering wonder why some people are so hardened, so very hardened, that you are caught on a crime, and just to confess and plead for tamper justice with mercy, you are still trying to bring yourself out when all evidence are pointing to the fact that you are the offender and you are the culprit. And may the Lord help us in this Nigerian. That is all from the newspaper review segment. We go next to the next segment, which is the wise saying by Pastor Solomon. Good morning, Pastor Solomon.
Good morning, my children. Happy Wednesday. God will bless you in Jesus' name. How was your night? Today shall be favorable. You shall record success today. What you could not achieve yesterday, you achieve today in Jesus' name. My name is Pastor Solomon. In case you are watching me for the first time, and the Bible is my watchword. You see, my children. Today, Wednesday, the 22nd day. Listen carefully, because I will not dwell much on this, because it is comprehensive enough. What I have for you today, my children, faith is not the belief that God will do what you want. It is the belief that God will do what is right. Listen again. Faith is not the belief that God will do what you want. It is the belief that God will do what is right. That is the word of wisdom I have for you today. The faith you are exercising is not that what you have been telling God to do, that God will do it. You see? Because interestingly, what you are telling God to do might not be good for you. Somebody prayed, somebody was giving testimony in one of the services. I was shocked until I processed that testimony. The man said he thanked God for what God refused to do. I was like, what is this man saying? Until I processed it. He said because there was something he has been asking God to do. And he thanked God that God did not do it. Because if God has done it, the story would have been different. You see? There are a lot of prayer points you have been telling God. God do it. God do it. You see? It is the belief that God will do what is right. That is faith. Let your will be done. That is the faith. In fact, that is the best prayer. Let your will be done. Because God knows the right thing for you. He knows what you want at a particular time. You know what you need at a particular age. You know what you need at a particular circumstance, at a particular situation. Some maybe their fiancé or fiancé just serve them a breakfast. And the next prayer point is God should replace him or her immediately. But God still wants you to take your time so that the best can come. It is not by replacing it immediately. It's not by replacing the man immediately. You see? Some people just got sacked. And they are telling God should just give them another job immediately to shame their enemy. But God still wants you to calm down so that the best can locate you. You see? You see? Faith is not the belief that God will do what you want to. It is the belief that God will do what is right. That is the word of wisdom I have for you today. Maybe you have been telling God, you've been asking God for one thing or the other, and it's not yet done. God knows the right thing. He knows the right time to do it for you. He knows the right time. You know, in the wedding in Cana, when the wine got finished, and they're expecting Jesus to, he said, my time has not come. You see? And when the right time came, you see that everybody enjoyed the wine. And they were saying, where did you keep this wine, all this wine? You see? God will help you, my children, and make sure that the Bible is your washroom. And because the Bible is my washroom. I remember Solomon, tomorrow is another day. Bye.
Thank you, Pastor Solomon, for that wise saying this morning. Thank you. We appreciate. I hope you, our viewers, you have gotten one thing or the other from those wise words that Pastor Solomon has said to us this morning. We go on to the next segment, which is the discussion segment. Here on the discussion segment, we have various topics that we'll discuss, whereby you, our viewers, can learn from it. And if you also have any word to contribute, you can call in, as the number will be displayed on the screen for you to air your views on the discussion topic. Today we have with us the topic for today's class, for today's discussion is studying online versus regular classroom. Studying online versus regular classroom. And when we are talking of online class, is a course conducted over the internet. The classroom, on the other hand, provides a space where learning can take place uninterrupted by outside distractions. You know, I had an experience, and I think it was on the net at that period during the year 2020, during the lockdown period, during the coronavirus lockdown period, where no one went to school, nobody went to work, everybody was at home. But the educational sectors, especially the private schools, found it worthy that they should conduct online class at that period. And the point of where I'm driving at is there was a particular time they were having an online class, a private university, or the lecturer was having an online class with his students, and as the rule is that you must dress corporate. It does not determine either you're at home or you're not in the class, then you dress anyhow. No, you must dress corporate according to the rules, even in a regular class by the private school. And the funny thing is, this student just wore shirts and tie, and instead of wearing trousers, he wore his pants, that's his boxers, and wore shirt and tie, and he was listening to the class unknown to the lecturer. I think, and he also, the student, forgetting how his dressing code was, stood up, and since all students were online in the class, they saw that he was not properly dressed, and he was actually sanctioned by the lecturer for that. That's one of the disadvantages of online classroom. Now to my co-presenters. When we are talking of online class and regular classroom, what are we talking about, Body?
All right. Online versus regular classroom. You know, the online class whereby you have everything in your comfort, studying at home with no restrictions. That is, you are able to venture into all that things while your class is going on. Even though some online classes will require you to turn on your videos, they want to ensure you are paying rapt and concise attention to what you are doing at that particular time. But for me, it still gives rooms to do all that things. But on the other hand, regular classroom, it takes a lot from you, your time. It takes it's stressful in the sense that you rush down to your classroom pant room. Talking about university days now, you at times you have class by 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. You are one place, just seated one place, trying to learn, and at the end of the day, you discover that what you are able to pick after that long day of classes, you might not be as good enough as what you could have just learned in the space of your room or anywhere you may be, and you might have picked a lot of things because you are comfortable in whatsoever environment you are in, taking those classes. For me, I will go for studying online rather than going into classroom. There are a lot of distractions in going into classroom. That's where you see your friend you want to gist with. Both requires discipline anyways, but you see your friend you want to gist with, you see something that is going to distract you. Maybe you are in class already, the lecturer is lecturing, somebody just walks in with one fine cologne that will just take your attention, and you want to turn to who is this person coming in. Maybe one beautiful lady walks into the class. It gets all those things are part of the disadvantages, things that get your attention, and you at that point you might not be able to concentrate again. But when you are in the comfort of your home, you know it is just you and your system and whoever is lecturing you. Some of the things I've learned in the past years now, in the recent years, are from online. Not necessarily, and online classes give you room for you to do other things. You know, when you are studying online, you can work, but you can't be going to classroom and you want to work at the same time. Even your lecturers won't permit that. But online classes gives you room to do extra things alongside what you are studying or what you are doing at that particular time. So for me, it is always online.
Yeah, online class. To me, online class is less stressful. You know, if you have to go to classroom, the stress of, you know, when we were in school back then, the stress and going further to study, you want to leave the house in time. If you don't get to the class before the lecturer, you stay outside, you will not enter. That's for regular classroom. And every other thing, most times you'll be rushing to get a car, to before you get a car to get to the school. You get to the school, you'll be trekking to the class area, or you'll be standing again, you'll be queuing again for the school shuttle to take you to the class. You get there, you are not already balanced, you're not yet comported. Before you know, the lecturer comes into the class, and you may, before you get to comport yourself to get what the lecturer has to say, the lecturer has gone far in taking that course that he or she is teaching, is lecturing you on. But for online class, you know, you have the time to relax. You know that, okay, this online class, most online classes are either in the afternoon or in the evening, or they just say in the evening or in the night. And when you know this, you know that, okay, I'll time myself before this certain time. I should be at home, I should be in a conducive environment, and you would have prepared yourself and also done what? Know that, okay, I have to concentrate or take any form of distraction in form of making calls. You put your phone on silent. Yes, in regular class you can also put your phone on silence, but the main thing is comportment and being prepared. That's all I have to say on the online and regular classroom. So Abiodun, over to you. What do you have to say for online class and regular class?
Well, I prefer regular class than online class, because when you have regular class, you'll be able to have face interaction with your lecturer or your teacher. You'll be able to have your mates around you to interact, and you'll be able to learn appropriately. And there's always discipline. All these things that we always do in school, that you have lectures by 7, 8, it's just trying to discipline us in our ways of life so that you'll be able to stick to time. If you say you have lectures online by 8 now, you can just stay on your bed, put on the data and everything, and you do it. You can just do it anyhow you like. And I want to say, if you don't have self-control, you cannot do online classes, because if you are trying to learn online, if anything pops up on your phone or anything, you can be distracted easily and you go to online checking other things. But if you are in a regular class, your lecturer cannot be in front of you and you be browsing on everything. You can be sent out of the class. So there's always discipline to teach you, and you'll be able to have interaction with your mates. What are we doing? What are they teaching us? You'll be able to talk, and you'll be able to know that what we are doing, you are understanding what you are doing. But when you have online class, a lot of people are different in their areas. Everybody is online and everything. You will not have that fluence of asking questions and everything to interact with your lecturer and everything. But me, I prefer the classroom class. When you go to class, you sit down, you have interaction with your teachers, you have discipline on whatever you are doing, so that you'll be able to know that this time I'm supposed to be in class, this time I'm supposed to leave here, and you'll be able to schedule your time appropriate with your timetable. It's not that you just stay at home and you'll be expecting that maybe there's online class today too. Even if you like, you may say, oh, I don't have that, I'm not interested, I don't want to learn, I will cover up. But when you are in class, a regular class, you know that you have class by 7, by 10, by 12. You have to schedule your time, and you'll be able to know that, yes, I have to face, this is what I'm doing. But online class, you feel relaxed and distracted. That's my own.
You know, another thing I have to say about online and regular class, I'm doing a student teachers course, and we usually have regular class, and we also have online class. In that regular class, it's something that people don't really come for regular class. Not that they don't want to come, but because of time, being occupied with one thing or the other. But when it comes to the online class, you see a lot of people online participating, even commenting that they were, you know, so people are actually shy in classroom. And they are also vocal online. I don't know that you have noticed that. So people participate on online class, they air their views, they ask questions, online regular classroom. So Tolu, what do you have to say on that?
I'm starting from where you stopped.
Okay.
For the online class, I don't know how you ask a question, but I prefer the physical class because it's very convenient for me to ask questions and relate with other students. And it depends on the level of education, actually. Sometimes when it comes to professional courses and all that, people might prefer the online class for the professional courses. And sometimes when it comes to the secondary level, you know, for me, I'll prefer the physical class because it's disciplining you, just as he has said, and you can easily ask questions. You see your instructor in front of you dishing out the teaching or the lecturing, and it gives you an advantage to you know, learn more from the instructor or the teacher. And also, if there's anything confusing about the lecturing or the teaching, you can easily ask questions, and it offers a dynamic experience of learning. And also, you can share your experience. You know, when you physically see the person who is teaching, you can ask questions, and from your fellow students, you can easily share experience. And for me, why I prefer the physical class is that the way I answer questions when I was in school, when you ask me a question concerning, when I'm writing an exam and I see the question, I tend to remember the way I was taught. I don't give the direct definition, can be defined as clinical. So what I do is after defining the experience you shared, maybe the lecturer shared an experience or gave an example. That's what I do. When you give me an example, when you share the experience, those are the things I write for, so that I will know that I was actually present, physically present, not just present, but I was present. I saw you teaching, and I listened attentively. So that's the way I answer my question in exam. So that's why I love that, you know. It makes me more, it's disciplining me. When it comes to, when you say the lecture is, when I was in school, when the lecture is 7 a.m., I try every possible best to meet up. Yes, I have like that kind of lecture that you mentioned earlier. If you come in 7:05, he sends you out. But to me, it's a way of disciplining us. You know, they're telling us, okay, now I'm working in an office. I'm supposed to start a program at 9 a.m. So if I'm not disciplined, when will I be coming to the studio? So the discipline starts from learning. Then we get to the office space. So I prefer that. Actually, I prefer it. Even now that I'm trying to still move ahead when it comes to learning, I still prefer that. Though you may say that because I'm working, it's not so easy, but I'm still looking for a way to just bring it in. I just love it. I was telling somebody last week that I feel like going to the classroom, you know, just sit and just, you know, just learn. I just enjoy, that environment, seeing people that we are learning together, seeing other people. And I just love that environment. Rather than having my system before me, I will just read through and all that. I've not actually gone for an online class before, but I know sometimes you get distracted. There was somebody I was doing an interview with sometimes, I think 2 weeks ago. She was attending an online class and we were having an interview. I was asking her questions, she was answering me. At the same time, she's still monitoring the online class. But to me, she was not paying 100% attention because I was already getting her attention. You understand? So for me, those are some of the disadvantages. But you know, the world is evolving. The world is evolving. We are moving forward. At the same time, some people still prefer the former system, like me. I still prefer that former system of learning.
Okay.
No, I won't totally agree with what you and Abiodun has said, you know, because you have everything at your fingertip when it comes to online classes.
Class.
You know, online classes gives you the leverage of you making researches on your own, rather than you depending on somebody coming to present you with what he has learned over the years. You know, I'm not saying what is online is not some people's school of thought, but if you look at your lecturers, go to class, the same class you left some few years back, go there again. That same lecture, if that same lecturer is still there, he's still teaching that same thing he taught you to the people there now. But when you go online, you have your time of research where you can research and everything. So it gives you that leverage of you researching, looking for materials yourself, doing this, saying that it makes you lazy or you are not disciplined. That's not true. Somebody who does online classes and knows that, okay, this is where I'm learning from, you should be disciplined. Like she said, that you already know that, okay, by 7 p.m. I have a class by 7 p.m. You do everything to beat your schedule so that you can be in that class.
Can I answer you?
And okay.
No, you are going to.
Can I respond to what you just said?
Okay.
A lazy student is someone who will go to the class, listen to the teacher, and you won't go back home to do your research. I don't do that. When I go to class, after receiving lecture, I go back home. I get my, you know, normally you have your textbooks. At the same time, you still check other things, apart from the one that you even bought from the school. That's what I do. So after learning, after telling me your experience, most of the lecture, when they are teaching you, they are telling you the experiences and all that. They're giving you practical experiences. At the same time, I go back, check, read through my textbook. And since I check online, just like what you are doing, being an online, you check online. I'm combining both.
That regular
so I can't go back. No. I never mentioned lazy.
No.
Did I mention lazy?
Yes, you did.
Never mentioned lazy.
You did. Regular classrooms breed lazy students of not going back to study because you believe this person is a professor.
I never mentioned that.
No, I'm telling you now. I'm using your word against you now because you said he's only a lazy student that will not go back to research. But I'm telling you now that regular classes breeds those kind of students whereby they want to just sap from the lecturers. This person is a doctor, is a professor.
But do you know that there's an online class when you want to do your test, at the same time you have the textbook before you. Is that not expo?
No.
You want to do your exam, you have your textbook before you. As you are checking, you have your textbook. I've seen it before. Abigail,
let me put it to you. I've seen it before. That is not that exam is not professional. Every professional exam, your environment is being monitored by the camera on your system.
You were talking about professional exam.
Yes,
I'm not talking about.
I'm talking
an higher institution. Someone is writing exam, and you have your textbook. You are quickly checking your textbook.
When I mean professional, I don't mean a professional course.
If I didn't see it, I would say
an upgraded online class. Your environment is being monitored.
This is 21st century.
No, it's 21st century.
We can't do it the way, you know, when the option of online classes were not available, we used to believe that regular classrooms is the best.
Yeah.
But I can put it to you now that regular classroom doesn't offer you the best of education. Look, go to the developed nations. It is hardly. I'm not saying there are no regular classroom settings, but even the regular classroom still gives you the leverage of doing online classes because they know that, okay, one, this person is busy. This person is working. How do you fend for yourself when you are coming to the classes?
And that was why I said earlier that it depends on the level of education. And I mentioned that at the secondary level, that you don't go for an online. I won't encourage that. You know, I said at the professional level, now I'm working. If I want to go for an online class, because of my work, I can do online. So that's why I say it depends on the level. You know, having that at the secondary school level, that's what I'm saying.
I still will not agree.
I won't support that.
I still will not agree with that.
For a professional,
whether secondary
for a professional
school,
class.
you see, the problem we have in this country now is that our children are not rightly trained from their tender age. You know, if you go to developed countries, for China, for example, and you see, go to their factories, you see young boys and young girls building machines, building stuffs. Why? Because it wasn't just learnt in the four walls of the classroom. They had this online classes. They had this online, and they had the how do I put it now? They had the whole setup of going to research online, but in this our climb, we don't have the opportunity to go online. Even if your child is holding your phone now, you are sure that person is only going to watch cartoon.
No. Most of them now researches online. The research is online.
What research is? The research they still do online is the normal research of what is a noun, what is adjective, what is this and that. Is that what we are talking about? At least I have children that are in my care that when they bring their assignments, we want to check some things online. That is not being taught enough. But when you know your classes are online, every material you need is online. You have everything on you you want to research, you want to always be online, you want to try to do things that are okay. You're saying that, okay, who puts this material here? My materials too can be here. You want to work towards that. But when you are going to the regular classroom, you see your lecturers too are not giving you what you want, because the way they were taught is the way they are still teaching you. I know a lecturer back then that would say that I can't give you a 70 because I didn't get it in my own time. I didn't get it in my own time.
That's the mentality.
I was about to say
that is what I'm telling you. That is why I'm telling you that online they will, because you can easily monitor your score by yourself.
Yes.
You can monitor your score by yourself. So if somebody you now go to class, somebody is telling you, I didn't come out with a distinction, definitely you too, you can't come out with a distinction.
It depends on the mentality of the lecturer.
No, online, you will monitor your score by yourself. If I want to get a higher score,
apart from what you have taught me, I go back home to learn more. I answer your question in a way. I've done it when I was in school. When I knew what I did, and somebody gave me a score that doesn't belong. I requested for my script. So if I'm confident about what I do, I will request for it. If you are giving me, I request if you are confident. That's why when you are being taught, you go back or you make research. You do what you are supposed to do.
In Nigeria, it's not just about confidence. In Nigeria, it's not about confidence, because when you do to your lecturer, that lecturer might not be the one to fight you back.
That lecturer has a poor reasoning. That's why he's telling you that it's a poor reasoning.
Are you not saying?
You are saying that because I don't have 7 feet.
Hold on. Are you not saying 80% of lecturers in Nigeria they have poor reasoning?
The lecturer that said he can't give you 70 because he didn't get 40 in school, that because you have other brilliant children, more brilliant than you. So why would I be limiting them?
Just that lecturer.
I can't limit them.
It's in all the schools in Nigeria.
Yes.
Both private schools.
Then you give me the names of the schools in Nigeria that are doing that.
I can give you the names.
You can give me the names.
I've just told you.
I went to school also. Now my lecturer never did that.
What school did you
I went to Lagos State Polytechnic. My lecturer never did. He will never even say that.
The lecturers in Lagos State Polytechnic, they are saints.
In your department.
No, she's actually referring to a particular lecturer.
Wait.
know the
wait.
lecturers in
Yeah,
that department.
what I said earlier, it's happening to a particular lecturer. Other lecturers will never say because I didn't get 70, because you have more students who are more brilliant than you. So why would you want to limit them because you have an advantage of teaching them? It is wrong.
It's not all lecturers that is doing that. It's not all lecturers.
It's
that
not
But
all
they are
lecturers,
more.
but we
They are
know
more.
these things now. You know, I know
all
these things
lecturers.
that
Even as a female, male lecturer will never harass me and say, I will not give you the right score because I want to date
when it
you.
comes to you
Never.
challenging your lecturers, they tend to look at you in a particular way and okay, you
I
challenge
did
me.
it.
I need not fight you directly. Why I would then use my friend to fight you.
Yes. It's happening.
Leave that.
We
If you
see-
have your
we see news,
me, I
we read news
requested
every
for
day.
it.
We
I
read news
requested
every
for
day.
when I
I
noticed
would-
that
I would
okay,
have loved-
I
I would have-
requested for it.
I would have
So it's
loved-
like it's just like
because
an
of our time, I
encouragement
would
to
have
other people.
loved to ask you what's here, so that from there we begin to judge
You
things.
can go back to Lagos State Polytechnic.
No. I would have loved to ask you what's here because we know these things. From the 90s, early 2000s, going to maybe 2010, we know how these lecturers operate. We know what they do. I'm not a lecturer, but at least I was close to some of my lecturers, and we know how they do it. Even some of my friends who mark scores, they will just come and meet you for lecturers. They will just come and meet you, guy, Alpha. What do you have for me? Let me do this for you. We know all these things, but this is what I'm saying. When it is online, it is free and fair.
But do you know that
Why do you think before you ask
it's
that
not
question?
about marking,
Before
no.
you ask that question, why?
But there is not about mark. We are talking
wait.
about teaching. Yes,
Yes,
not about,
no,
yes,
we are-
I did
all
an
inclusive.
ICT exam
All
online,
inclusive.
even when I was
Why
in
did
school.
we implement? Why is JAM implementing
Computer-based
computer-based
She
tests?
don't understand. You
Even
are
so-
all you are moving.
It
even
encompasses
very
Excuse
soon,
me.
very soon,
Excuse me.
It's
very soon.
encompasses
Why-
Abigail, you
why
don't
could
understand.
be-
I just mentioned that we are talking about teaching. We are not talking about marking. I
It
did
is
an
from
ICT
teaching.
exam.
teaching
It
to
is
ma-
from
it's
teaching we
online.
enter
It
exam
encompasses
now.
all.
It is from
It
teaching we enter
encompasses
exam.
all. Classroom. Anything
it is from
classroom, both
teaching
the
we enter
test,
exam.
the teaching, the exam, it encompasses all. What is the
Don't-
end
It
Don't
is
product
from
of
change
teaching
it.
we
You
enter
are not-
exam.
you are
Don't change it. Doing an
It's
exam
broad.
online, yes, you can
It's
see your
broad.
score. Yes, you can easily see your score. Nobody will manipulate your score. But we are talking about teaching, paying attention while in class. You're claiming that you are in class, you're doing something else and all that. So we are talking about the physical class.
The same way you said,
Yes,
the same way
so
the
it's
same way
about
both of you
marking.
said that discipline is there's discipline in regular classroom. The same way whoever is doing online class will be disciplined or should be disciplined.
It all depends
So
on you.
it
It
depends.
all depends
In
on
regular
you.
classroom, don't we have students who don't even send
That's
They
why I
will
said
chat,
it all
they will
depends
hide
on
and be
you.
chatting
It
with
all-
their
it
phone.
all
And you said
depends on
something
you.
that you mentioned something that in online classes you can be distracted to go to WhatsApp. In regular classes, some people video their lecturers
And the
while the
lecturers
lecturer is
will not know.
lecturing, and they send
It
it
all
online
depends.
to make mockery of the lecturers. Don't we see that also?
It all depends on you.
depends.
But I still support the physical
But if you
class.
don't
That's
have
just me.
self-control,
That's
you
what I
can't do
love.
online class.
That-
That
attending
I
physical class.
can put it to you that you are part of the people who don't want development for Nigeria because one of the way to go to make things very okay for this nation is by we adopting some of these 21st century technologies, using technologies to pass message, building our capacity in the area, leveraging on
So
technology.
if you are the Minister of Education, you will eradicate the physical class and say everybody should
No, you
that
know,
is
the-
what you
where
don't
we
get
get
now.
it, where we-
Physical class cannot
No,
be totally
we are
eradicated.
What
eradicated.
you don't
But it
understand
can
is
be
we
brought
have
together.
different people, we have different courses, we have different subjects. There are some subjects that require somebody to talk to you physically.
That-
And
that's
there
why
are
I
some
will
subjects
say-
that you
Sorry,
can make
sorry.
research
Do we do practical
and
in
go
Nigeria? Do we do
online.
practical in
And
Nigeria?
eradicating the physical class,
How many?
you know,
What
They
is
are
the level?
practical. You cannot
What
be
is
a doctor
wait?
and you'll be doing
What is the
the-
level?
That's what I
What
was
is
like,
the
say,
level of
That's why
practical?
even
What
the
is the
class
level
and
of practical to theory in
Even the
Nigeria?
developed world that we took this
I
What is
studied,
the
I studied
level of
mass
practical-
communication, and most of the time we do practical.
What is the level of
Most of the
practical
time
to
we do
theory in
practical.
Nigeria?
So if I'm doing it online,
online, you have to see what they are doing.
Should
with
I
your
tell you
side,
now?
and your
Should
lecturer
I
have
tell
to
you?
communicate with you.
Most people,
all depends- it all
mass
depends
com
on
that
what you
mentioned,
love.
mass com
It all
that you
depends
mentioned,
on what
most
you
people
love.
do their practicals online. There are a lot. Do you think all these
we are
skits,
in a
all these
developed
skits, all
world.
these content creators, what are they doing? Those are practicals too. Those are practicals too. You are learning. You can sit
No, they
with
are
your phone and
learning.
learn
They don't have
some
the
of these things.
origin of the course or everything, they don't have it. They
I
are
can
just
learn the
learning- they are
origin
just learning
online.
it
The origin, somebody has uploaded it online. I can read up.
The moment has uploaded the video of the practical.
There's a
But
video,
some
there's a
online-
practical.
some courses that you cannot do online. You
It's
cannot
like
be
you
a
telling me-
doctor
it's like
and
you
you
telling
now
me
be
to go
looking
and-
at how
to
to
go-
do surgery, how to deliver a baby online. You think that you'll be able to do it when you're
Yeah,
You
so
can
you are
do
saying
it.
that
You
you
can
don't
do
really
it.
like
You
no.
can do
You
it.
can do it.
You can
yes,
do it.
you can do it
You
because
learn it
you are
online
not
and
that type
do
of
it.
doctor that just went online.
Most of the
Surgery.
okay
That's
now
a quack doctor. So
Most
how
of
do you get?
No,
how do you
don't-
get somebody telling you that
You-
this is this part,
that's-
this is this part,
that's-
this is how to sew it, this is how to do this? You think you can
No.
do that
for
online?
No,
which
there's-
for which
no.
but let me say this.
Practical,
But let me say this.
practical.
Non-lecturer.
That's basically practical. When you want, when you are
That's
talking
what I'm
about
saying.
treating people, it comes to the practical aspect. But I can learn the theoretical part
That's
online.
it. That's what we are talking about practical now. So there are some
No,
practicals
we
you can't
didn't
do
start with practical.
on
We didn't start with
online.
practical.
So you can't eradicate. We
Because
can't say
over
physical
time-
class is
The
the
world
whole
is evolving.
style and then we eradicate it. No, we can embrace both.
Cannot eradicate
You
physical
can
class.
embrace both.
In embracing both, one needs to be at about 50% or 40%, while
It
the
all
other is at
depends.
60%.
It all depends on
It
you.
can
You
never
can
be
even do
50-50.
everything
Of course.
on. Even your practical, you can do
it
everything
online
online.
and
No, you
Thank
mentioned mass communication, and I'm telling you that you can do that online.
That's what
Thank
But for
you.
medicine,
Depends on
for
the
medicine,
course.
you need
That's
to go
all
to
we can
I
have.
love the physical class, but they
Sati. I can see you.
Tolu and Abiodun has given their own points on physical classroom. While Bode and I has given our own view on online class. I know you are viewers out there, you have the one you prefer. That's left to you. That's all we can have for today's episode on Morning Delight. We can see a repeat broadcast by 10 p.m. to this night, and fresh episode will be brought to your screen tomorrow by 9 a.m. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.